Good evening. This is the Bicycle Pedestrian Commission meeting. Today is June the 13th, 2024. I call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. and ask staff to proceed with the roll call.
Commissioner Ganga,
Yes.
Commissioner John. Absent. Chair Marcy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wolf,
Yes.
Commissioner Zhao. We have a quorum, Commissioner John absent.
The first agenda item we have is the approval of the minutes. Are there any clarifying questions or comments from the commissioners on the meeting minutes? Are there any public speakers for the minutes?
I don't have any votes.
So we need a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes. Okay, second.
Let's proceed with the roll call.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, with respect to the approval of the May 15th, 2024 Bicycle Pedestrian Commission minutes, how do you vote, Commissioner Ganga?
Yes.
Chair Marcy?
Aye.
Vice Chair Wolf,
Yes.
Commissioner Zhao?
Abstain, I was absent.
Motion passes 3-0, Commissioner Zhao abstaining.
Are there any postponements?
No postponements.
Are there any public speakers? If none, we'll proceed to the oral communications. So this portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the commission on any matter within the jurisdiction of the commission that is not on the agenda, and speakers are given 3 minutes. Are there any attendees waiting to make public comments?
I don't have any speaker cards for oral communications.
So I now close the public comment period for this agenda item. Are there any written communications?
No written communication.
Speaker card, item number 2.
So with that, we'll move to the agenda item on the old business, and that's the Vision Zero action plan. And the recommended action is to receive a presentation and recommend City Council adopt Cupertino Vision Zero action plan.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, tonight I'll be giving a very brief presentation about Vision Zero. This is a topic that's come to the Commission a few times previously, where you've received a thorough introduction and description to what our Vision Zero action plan is all about. So today I will be providing kind of an update on that. Really briefly, the recent history, we presented the draft plan to the Bike Commission at the March 28th, 2024 BTC meeting. At the meeting, the Bike Commission made a motion to solicit feedback from the Commission and public feedback as well through April 8th, at which time that feedback was compiled by staff. The motion also included a BPC visit of the plan in May, with the goal to have council approve the plan in June 2024. Due to the the number of comments that we received and the time taken to go through them and have our consultant address them. We weren't able to return in May. But here we are in June, and our plan is to go to council hopefully in July with approval. So following receipt of the comments, again, we addressed them as best we could and updated the draft plan, which is the one that was provided to you in the agenda packet. So what I have here is a very high level summary of the comments that we heard from the commissioners and from the public and how we attempted to address them. So I'll go through them quickly. Include Miller and Blaney in our high injury network was a very common theme. So we included those in figure 12 within the document and included them both in our recommended project list. And just for additional information, all of these items in much greater detail are also included in the agenda packet. There's a response to comment matrix that was provided to you, which has every comment that we received and our response to that comment and how it was addressed within the plan. So this is just a really high level summary again. Second, we were told that we should consider reorganizing the plan to clearly identify the action items necessary to achieve the goals. So we reorganized the plan into 4 primary chapters that clearly delineated which were the implementable actions, and these implementable actions in the table were then referenced to the subsequent subsections, which contained in some cases some additional information about how those actions are to be carried out, which wasn't completely clear in the original draft. Clarify the task force work plan, goals, and actions. So we included a section specifically related to the task force and what that task force will be tasked with doing. Better address the role of lowering speed limits in the reduction of KSIs. So we added action plan 8.8, which refers to considering the provisions of AB 43 with respect to safety corridors. We added a countermeasure related to speed limit reduction. And we're also going to continue to address AB 43 looking forward in an additional revision, which I'll get to later, that will add this provision to our recommended project list. Other items that we heard and addressed, to address the role of quick build projects. So we included action plan B.3, which allows us to consider quick build demonstration projects. And we added a countermeasure as the low cost option for including protected bikeways as a quick build option. We added a section on ongoing and future projects, which basically will enhance our eligibility for grant funding specifically for those projects in that section. And those are all projects that the city is either currently engaged in working on or anticipates potentially having on our plan within the next couple of years. Expand our safe routes to school discussion. We added action plans D.8 and D.6, which discuss increasing the investment in student safety education. We expanded our discussion on transit, action plan C.6, to incentivize and prioritize transit. And we added a transit safety countermeasure. And we also included our resolution within the plan that the council will adopt when the plan goes to council. Our next steps, since the release of that draft about a week ago, we've received additional feedback and suggestions from each of the commissioners and from the public. And we intend to incorporate those into the final draft that we're going to present to council. And these are all items that, Chair, you can advise how you would like to review these. I've got all of the items that we've heard and how they're going to be addressed in this spreadsheet, which basically encompasses 3 slides. And to the best of my knowledge, this addresses all the concerns that we've heard. These will be included in the motion. And Kim is prepared to show that on the screen when we're ready to get to that point. If you would like me to go through these line by line, we can do that. If you'd like a few minutes on each slide to read and digest, we can do that as well. But these are all items that we've heard within the past week from the commissioners and from the public, and we will address them in our final report that we will take to the city council. So just going back a slide as our next step. So tonight, I'll ask the BPC to make the recommendation that city council adopts the final plan, incorporating that feedback that I just showed on the slides. And that final draft plan that has that feedback will be presented then to the city council at their July 9th meeting. And that concludes my presentation. And again, I'm happy to go back and spend a little bit more time on those additional comments.
So some of the additional comments, it would be good if you can make them a little bit bigger. And
Yeah, let me see if I can do that. I might need to. Yeah.
No, no,
Okay.
no, it doesn't.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so
Sure.
do you want to do it on your screen?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing and then Kim will share the same information on hers. There you go.
That a little bit better?
That's
yes,
Okay.
On our own?
yes.
let us know when you like scroll down.
Okay.
Can you ask questions on this one?
Sure.
Clarify what the action. So what is the automated speed safety enforcement? What would it do? We have the definition of stuff.
Automated speed safety enforcement would be kind of like the automated red light cameras, but speed limit.
Is it like or once the flashing speed limit?
Well, no, that would refer to actual enforcement. As like a red light camera does.
You get it in the mail.
Yeah, is that allowed?
Not currently, no,
Yeah, it's not allowed, right?
correct. Yes.
What do you want her to?
Well, because this allows us the flexibility in the future to incorporate that should should it become legal and standard practice. This doesn't, having it in the, having it included doesn't obligate the city to do the recommendation, but it provides us the option, the toolbox to use those in situations where we think that they're appropriate.
Is it allowed by the California law?
I don't know if it is, some cities are implementing it. San Jose, I believe, and there are a few others.
Okay, that's something which will become controversial, especially when you get into the enforcement aspects of it. So I would say like, you already have the speed limit reduction, say B 43, and you have other places where you're talking about what's the right enforcement actions. I don't think that you wanted to get into this. That's my opinion.
I would keep it in, just considering the fact that this document is gonna be, it's gonna be in place until 2040. Even if it's not, David, you said it's not legal, right?
I'd have to double check. Because the cities that are implementing it might be doing it under a,
I think the
Special-
clarifying question was that we're not the discussion yet, right? So I think the clarifying question, so we clarified what this is and then we talk about it in the discussion later.
Okay.
And that's,
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
no, we can move, yeah, I think are we good?
I'm good on that, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe keep moving.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Not sure. Okay.
Good.
David, a question for you, the difference between plastic stubs and bollards?
It's just a clarification on what we mean by that. So plastic stubs was just not a very good description of what we would be implementing. Always makes it a little clearer. And to answer a question from before, the governor signed a bill to pilot automatic speed enforcement in 4 cities in California. So it's not legal everywhere, but within the pilot cities.
Ready to move on? Right.
Could you actually scroll up a little bit? Just so I can see.
Okay.
Yes. If you can add an accent on my name, that would be wonderful, but don't have to.
How's that?
Let's see. Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I'll leave one here too, but I'll add it later. I guess that's the end of the document, actually.
Second. So, are there any clarifying questions as far as this document? Okay. So we'll open for public comments, and I received 2 speaker cards for that agenda item. First speaker is Jennifer Shearing from Cupertino, representing herself.
Good evening, commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm really pleased to see what the draft looks like now, especially with these updated conditions. I think it's definitely going to move us towards hopefully having fewer KSIs and for having a safer city, which is what we all want. So I'm pleased to see a lot of these changes. I think there's only one change that I'm concerned about, which is and it's based on the fact that though I'm speaking not as a commissioner tonight, I have been a commissioner both on this commission as well as I'm currently the chair of the Parks and Rec Commission here in Cupertino, which is when we do acknowledgements for any sort of plan, we always have the current commissioners, and we don't usually list all the previous commissioners who may or may not have seen them. In fact, this particular plan was in I believe it was last year's, work plan. So some of those commissioners have been off the commission for quite a while, so it wouldn't really be appropriate. Second of all, typically the chair and vice chair are listed first with their titles, and I think that's also an important consideration. These seem like small things, but it's important that we be consistent within our city about what we're doing. So other than that, thank you for your time looking over this, and I hope that you will approve this now.
Thanks, Jennifer. Our second speaker is Sima Linskog from Cupertino and representing Walk by Cupertino.
Great. Chair Marcy, Vice Chair Wolf. Commissioners, thank you for giving the opportunity to speak. I want to echo what Jennifer Sharon said. I want to thank the staff for all their hard work on this. A lot of detail has gone into this, and we appreciate your openness to receiving our comments and your willingness to work with us to get this document, in a shape where we can all feel really good about it. It looks like an excellent document, and on behalf of Walk by Cupertino, we support this document the way it is right now with all of the additions and edits that the community and the commission and staff have done. I concur with Jennifer's comments about the acknowledgements. When we built the Breaking Up Free Trail, we only listed the council members that were council members at that time, right? It's just the process we do as a city. And it should start with the chair, then the vice chair, and the other commissioners, and it should list the current commissioners. And leave it at that. I would love to get recognition on things I did 10 years ago, but I'm not there. But apart from that, congratulations. This is a really strong document, and I think it's still going to serve the city well for the years to come. So thank you.
Are there any other public speakers? So I will open now for the commission discussion, and I think Lango, you had something which you wanted to mention about.
Yeah, so the one thing, we already looked through all the comments and right, that's fine. So the speed safety enforcement is one thing that I brought up. So I would recommend keep it neutral by saying that we can simply say speed safety enforcement instead of being specific about automated or not. So if it is manual, you have the option to go and enforce it like the traditional methods, or you have an option to go and do an automated method. So that way, whenever the state is allowing other cities to do it or not. So that will be a neutral language is what I would recommend.
So.
Isn't automated speed safety enforcement one of the countermeasures that's listed? Which is, I think, why it was brought up and listed specific, as opposed to just generally talking about speed safety problem.
Speed safety enforcement is already included in the document.
We have automated speed enforcement is already listed as a general countermeasure to be applied wherever. So that's why we listed it, and that's why it was put in there. We don't have a general speed enforcement countermeasure. We could consider adding one, but we don't have them currently.
My understanding is that the concern here is that we want to sort of commit the city council as saying something that is not allowed.
It's not legal today, right?
So
That's what you also clarified, David, right?
It's
It's a pilot program
pilot
in
program.
a few cities, but it's not a statewide option currently.
So what I would suggest is maybe to have something around the lines of adding automated speed enforcement as allowed by California state law. Turns out.
I'm fine with putting a 12 disclaimer there,
Okay,
as permitted by the state law or something like that.
okay. So then we would probably want to add a row to the comment
Let me
matrix.
share my screen again. Hang on. Here.
We'll have to add a new row.
Okay. Near the top or?
Okay, it doesn't. So that would be, we call it, speed management. Pages 35. Pages. And from the, I guess in parentheses, we would, well, actually say, automated speed enforcement. What it currently says. And then what we wanted to say would be automated speed enforcement, say, as allowed or
Permitted by
As
California.
permitted, where permitted by
where permitted, it's automated.
the state law, yeah.
Where permitted, even. Parentheses. Yeah. No, just the word. permitted. Yes, that's fine. And
You
then-
want to state specific, where permitted by law or state law or something like that.
I don't think we need to go that granular.
um,
That's pretty clear, I think. Yes.
And then in the box below it. Within the,
This one, where it says under speed safety?
yeah, so at the very end of that. Just. It should say the same thing, so. Before the quotes, say where permitted.
Oh, just put where permitted?
Yeah, just so the language is the same as it is above.
So right after, where should I put the quotes? Right after items?
No, at the very end, after enforcement. So it would be enforcement. Right, but, and then the quote would go, the end quote will go after the.
Inside of it.
Yeah, the word permitted goes inside. Inside the quote.
Like that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think actually. Or. Splitting here, speed, get rid of the word safety, because that's not how it's written in the document. So automated speed enforcement. Okay. That's good.
Commissioner Ganga, you had further comments?
Not now, I mean, please go ahead and come back.
Pastor Wolf?
I have a comment regarding the acknowledgements, so when was this, when was the contract let out for the, Vision Zero program, is that?
The contract, I don't recall exactly when the contract, but Vision Zero, the commission has been working on Vision Zero prior to contracts. So there was some work done just by the commission on Vision Zero initially, and then it was realized that it was a bigger task than the commission or a subcommittee thereof could manage by themselves. And so we made it a work plan item with a budget that the council approved, and we paused it while we went out to hire a consultant to continue the work and prepare the plan. So it's been a few years since Vision Zero was first considered by the by commission.
since, the prior commissioners haven't really had a chance to work on this document, I would move to remove, just go with the current commissioners for acknowledgements. And I don't see the point of adding the prior commissioners if they didn't really work on this document or provide input to the consulting firm. Was there any input provided to the consulting firm by the prior commission?
I don't believe so.
On those lines, my question also would be, was there a vote from the commission with these commissioners that led to the task for the
They would have been involved in the initial, when the
The vote.
commission first considered regional serial.
so they voted for what exactly?
They developed some of the initial policies, but that whole process was paused and almost restarted when we hired the consultants to develop the plan that's before you. This is,
In terms of continuity, if there had been a vote from these commissioners to establish, for example, mention that they would allocate budget to make that happen, I think that would have been fine here, but I would agree with Vice Chair Wolf when he says that although they started the effort, the outcome that we have now seems to be vastly different from what they started. So they may or may not even themselves want to be associated with what we have here. So I would agree with Vice Chair Wolf here that we might want to remove them from the list.
I can clarify because of the history behind this one, right? So even before it was taken up as a Vision Zero, work plan item to the first time it was taken by the city council. The commission appointed a subcommittee to go and investigate this, come up with a proposal. The subcommittee members also got a volunteer student who worked for 6 months to produce the data. Like you are seeing today, the consultant produced data. You can go back and look at the records where that student does work for 6 months to produce extensive set of data, which is very similar to what the consultant after paying so much money has produced as well. I'm not discounting that. We need to validate that with a proper, professional that's fine. And then that led to the approval of the work plan by the city council. And the first year, it was assumed or it was naive by the commission as well as the staff members to think that we could do it ourselves, the whole Vision Zero plan. And there was a subcommittee ran for another year for developing that plan. And that wouldn't work. And eventually the staff said, maybe we should hire a consultant. And then we did. The subcommittee provided inputs on the criteria for choosing the consultant as well. They wrote up a document and provided it to the in collaboration with the staff member. And then the city council continued to approve that as a continuing work plan item. And then the consultant was hired to do all this work. So it's appropriate to acknowledge the people, if you want, you can call them as previous council member, commission members who contributed to this plan. So that's the, actually I gave the input to the staff members to, provide, it's appropriate to provide acknowledgement for the people who worked on this one. That was my only thing. In fact, I even recommended to include the student who actually, without to include that. And if you wanted to put the right designations there, maybe you can say previous subcommittee members of the task force or whatever you wanted to call that as. It might be appropriate to acknowledge when the city comes up with such a, such a policy. Yeah.
So I think that's fair, but I would not keep that as City of Cupertino Bicycle Pedestrian Commission, because otherwise that would lead to a lot of confusion. We can have maybe another subdivision saying maybe prior bicycle pedestrian commissioners involved.
Additional thanks to.
Yeah, additional thanks to us, something of that sort.
Association members
and that stays
So that's it.
under Grace Strong.
under Grace.
Yeah, great job.
Just three there in blue.
So what should I say?
um, former commissioner, former
I don't know if we need to be so,
I think-
Or, I mean-
yeah.
I'm flexible on the language, but like, I think. We can go up, like, is there a precedent in another document we could refer to or something like this? And I'm okay with staff just looking at something going on with that, like, this feels pretty minor compared to the other.
Yeah.
Edits that was going into the range, so I feel like this, yeah. My opinion is like, I'm fine either way, like, I think you have a good point, we should acknowledge people who have worked on this before it became a consultant project, like, I think that's fine. Yeah,
So I would say maybe we can put additional thanks. If you don't find any sort of document that was similar, we can put we'll put whatever you find. And if you don't find anything, additional thanks would be.
Did you want to change the order of the commissioners listed to have the chair and vice chair
Yes.
first? Okay.
Oops.
The documents.
I just. Put a very recent piece of discrepancy, very good for that.
Want to say additional thanks to
curious,
past commissioners, yeah. There's no
don't wanna leave some mystery for people.
Any other?
Thank you.
Yeah, I can go and share some thoughts. Well, first of all, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, deeply appreciate the work that staff and the consultants have done on the draft to incorporate changes and improve the plan. Definitely noted the improvements and particularly appreciate, the inclusion of the quick build projects and the mention of tactical urbanism and protected bikeways. And including language to encourage prioritization of transit. I think that just complements really well with the aims of our commission to active transportation and public transportation going hand in hand. This is a very nitpicky thing, but there was one for the technology section of, I think the language said resident privacy, and then I realized we want to be a bit more inclusive, we can change resident to just say community members' privacy. Because there's not just residents that are using our streets, right? So that's one change I would make. And then another one that I realized didn't get the chance to bring up David earlier was for the Stevens Creek Boulevard section project. I think it would be good to mention the Stevens Creek Boulevard corridor vision study. And just like acknowledge that is, something that is going on, right? So because we're mentioning Cupertino projects, right? So I would propose, if it's not too late, to include some language of like along the lines of the city of Cupertino is currently involved in the Stevens Creek Boulevard corridor vision study to support a bold shared vision for transforming the corridor and enhancing the quality of life of all community members.
Where would you suggest putting that?
Just into the, I don't know the exact page number, but wherever the Stevens Creek Boulevard project is, into the description of the Cupertino projects.
Oh, in this. This one here?
Oh, the shreds are listed or?
Okay, so the years,
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it would be considered a Cupertino project, but it is a joint collaboration with the other cities and the county and BTA, right?
okay, I can, in the planned projects section
Yeah,
within that page. Okay, let me add a row.
so I think it would just be good to know because there are potentially big changes that are gonna happen in conjunction with other.
So it's page, does the other commissioners concur?
What do you all think of this?
I think that's fair because some of the projects that are here are also like long-term or paused projects. And so I think that makes sense to have that. Because it's gonna have an impact, definitely an impact on the students, whatever.
Page 62.
That'll link it to the planned projects.
Um, Just from for the next.
Can I show you the?
Add.
Yes.
Add the plan.
No.
Add
On
of plan modified.
Other down.
Basically.
So that's
Um,
one of the end.
I have the.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah, exactly, because that's not.
Okay, you want me to put this?
in the last, yeah.
Okay.
But that's just to make sure that. It's. And.
So
Keep going, down. Yeah, so these type of thing.
Oh, okay.
I was more referring to in terms of placement, as that in the, sorry, what's the name of the,
It's page 70, or 60, somewhere in the range, 60.
Is it?
page 8, yeah, 78? Can you go up a little?
At
The section is called ongoing future safety initiatives. And there is like,
Yeah,
because it's,
it's formal. It's press.
It's actually PDF page number 66.
Yeah.
Ongoing future safety initiatives.
I think it would fit better in that section because it's not something that the city, the rest of the project are all controlled by the city. But these projects are kind of broader things that are ongoing, and I think it would fit better in that.
Where are you suggesting it go?
On the ongoing and future safety initiatives, page 80 on the document.
You're suggesting that what the speeding vision.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is like, it talks about general development that are occurring in the city, like Canyon, Trail and, a few other things, right? So this could be more of a broader statement there, saying that these are ongoing projects. But we may or may not have specific action to take on that
Okay,
as part of the Speak Vision Zero.
yeah, I'd support putting it there. I'm wondering if we need though a little bit of a longer description.
Yeah, you might have to state why we are adding that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I could copy something from. I'm sure we've got a good description of that project.
There is a website.
Yeah, should we do that here or?
I mean, honestly, some of the language was pulled from the website when I was. Take that out, so. Like. How, I guess, wait, would it have to be listed as a? Or where are you thinking it would?
So it cannot be in the CHC, for example, if
It's
you
one
go
of
here,
these, yes.
go here. It cannot be part of some of these programs you're listed down as a CIP projects.
Yes.
It's not a CIP
not.
project.
Yeah,
So it should be something outside of our city's projects, right? That are okay, so it should be at the end if you want.
yeah,
Yeah. It cannot be part of that list. Or is it?
The problem that I have putting that directly into the page for Students Creek is that if you look at Vision Zero as a toolbox with elements that we want to apply directly, it's not one of them because the the future shape of Stevens Creek is not even defined yet. There's going to be a lot of community input. And so we cannot take kind of the elements in your plan into that because it's too unclear. So I would put it as a separate element so that we know it's coming, we know the city will have to work on it. But it should be outside of the document proper, like specifically applied to the infrastructure we have today. If that makes sense. But I definitely agree with you that we can put it in there, sure.
Before the court.
I'm wondering if there's a similar upcoming project that is similarly undefined, but we know is on the horizon. Like, how is that being treated in the plan?
Trying to think, there would be maybe the railroad, the railroad,
The what?
the railroad.
The rail, the Union Pacific?
Yes, yes. But it's not even listed
Really
here.
listed.
I think that one's probably so far off.
Exactly.
It's not.
I mean, I'm open to wherever it is included. I don't have a strong, I think it's a mentioning projects. And I thought it would make sense to put it into the Stevens Creek because it's specifically about that corridor. Does that make sense?
So my question to staff would be, does it commit us to do something about it, or what would be the, if we add it at Stevens Creek, does it change kind of the nature of the document, or?
I don't think so. No, I don't think it matters either way.
It's more informational than
Right.
no action can be taken based on the statement, right? So it's just that people will know that, oh, some project is coming, right? That community is reading stuff.
I mean,
Other than that, I don't see an actionable value in adding that.
I mean, I would say there is some value to including it so that, because this is gonna, the Stevens Creek corridor vision study will lead to some sort of collaborative project with other jurisdictions, so it's worth signaling to other cities and VTA and the county that like we are intending to approach whatever project it is with the values of Vision Zero, right? Well, we're not committing to like, oh, this is a specific way that we're not being prescriptive, right? We're just trying to approach it with the principles of Vision Zero.
I think it should be mentioned for informational purposes, so there's an understanding when you read the document that there is this ongoing separate corridor study that goes all the way down through San Jose into that, and Cupertino is just part of that.
Okay, so going back to, are we okay with just for simplicity, sticking it into the Stevens Creek plan
Yes,
projects?
yes.
Where can we go back and bring up that sheet? So let's look at that. No, the sheet where we want to include.
What sheet?
Stevens Creek.
Oh, it's 62.
Oh, because the Vision Zero draft.
Page 62.
Oh, you're gonna pull it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, why don't you pull it?
The first project.
58 on the PDF, but 60. Like, does it feel appropriate to just tack it on as the last paragraph?
Is it a plans project? It's not a city of Cupertino plan project.
Oh.
That's what you use, that title.
I mean, maybe we could have a subheader like, I guess it isn't a plan project, right, but, how would we?
The idea, the point is actually when they are developing a student street corridor project, it should adhere to Vision Zero. or something of that sort, right? The city has to collaborate with the multiple jurisdictions or adhere to Vision Zero policies or something like that. We could state in the end, but that's not a Cupertino's plan project, but it comes under Cupertino jurisdiction as well.
I can
So then we can add it
Sound
to the plan
involved.
project.
What if we added a clause like, which is intended to turn into a collaborative project? Then it kind of fits.
The last one, right, maybe you can put it under the plan projects, maybe the last paragraph.
Yeah.
With the caveat that it's not a planned, it's not a city of Cupertino plan project. But what you are saying is you're pointing to the, whoever is collaborating with the corridor to
Yeah.
kind of adhere to the Vision Zero principles or something.
Okay, how about, for the last paragraph, the city of Cupertino is currently involved in blah, blah. In the future, this is anticipated to turn into a collaborative project with, and we can list out the jurisdictions if we want, or we can just say a collaborative project in the future that, yeah, and we can just leave it at that. How does that sound? Then if it's signaling that there is a potential planned project down the road.
Doing the firm,
So this is what comes from the website, the vision study, I'm referring to the Stevens Creek Corridor Vision Study. Builds on previous transportation planning, harmonize shared values in the corridor, so future transportation investment in infrastructure and services coordinated across the different cities, the county. That comes from the vision study website.
And VTA is a big proponent of Vision Zero, so I'm assuming that they will
All the city, yeah.
bring in the Vision Zero principles as this process through multiple cities, right? So
we can say as the city engages in multi-jurisdictional effort to modernize Stevens Creek Boulevard, we will ensure that plan adheres to the principles of Vision Zero.
and we can't ensure, right? So
No, yes. we can, but yeah.
yeah.
It's intended,
And-
I
yeah.
think that's fine to say, right? That's.
So at least to the extent.
I don't know that you need to necessarily. I think that's sort of understood because in the other projects that we've discussed in this document, we don't specifically say anything that they're going to adhere to Vision Zero.
Okay.
It's understood that that's why we're discussing.
So we're gonna just say the city of Cupertino is engaged in multi-jurisdictional effort to modernize the Stevens Creek corridor. And as we add that in the list of planned projects, that implies that Vision Zero will be applied to it. That's fair?
So we'll bring back up the language. Okay, so can you repeat that?
The city of Cupertino,
I'm starting here.
I'm not sure.
Are you trying to rewrite the whole thing or?
It's like it, yeah.
yes,
Okay.
just to give it simple, keep it at one sentence and simple. City of Cupertino is engaged in a multi-jurisdictional effort.
So we're replacing what's there.
Okay. What am
Maybe we
I
can just leave both options so we can.
going to this box here?
Just keep typing there for replacing. Keep that.
Okay, the city of Cupertino.
Is engaged in a multi-jurisdictional effort to modernize the Stevens Creek corridor.
I don't know that modernize.
Modernize probably not the right word. To
Could call drawing on the first sentence to enhance, to transform the corridor and
transform.
quality.
What is it called in the project website? We use.
Studies that will develop goals for the corridor to guide future investments in transportation. That's directly from Stevens Creek webpage.
Okay.
So basically, the study will develop goals for the corridor to guide future investments.
Will guide future investments.
Okay, it says it's a start, I mean, I'm looking at the Stevens Creek Vision project, right? So multi-jurisdictional 2-year effort to create a shared vision for the future of Stevens Creek Boulevard corridor. That's what it says.
I think I like using that phrase or like that quote better.
Yeah, the study is still a study actually. Study is a multi-jurisdictional 2-year effort to create a shared vision for the future of Stevens Creek Boulevard corridor.
Okay, so. Where should I
The
start?
city of Cupertino is currently involved in a multi-jurisdictional study
We're gonna multi-jurisdictional.
multi-jurisdictional study to create a shared vision for the future of the Stevens Creek Boulevard corridor.
And should we name it?
Shared vision for the future of Stevens Creek
For the,
Boulevard corridor.
to create a shared vision for the future of the Stevens Creek Boulevard.
Corridor.
The Stevens Creek.
Okay, hold on. So this is gonna replace what's in this box?
So, yes.
See?
Yeah. That's short and concise. So that's good. Okay. That's good. So any other comments?
No, I think that's fine. I feel like it's concise and to the point. Okay, let's see. Did we go to, Kim, could you scroll, I think it was down,
I'm at the top of the document.
um. There's a row for the drones and like the technology section. I had a point around the residents.
The residents, you want to replace?
Yes, right over here. So that line, improve safety while protecting resident privacy, can we change resident to community members' privacy?
Right here?
Are we all in agreement?
Just protecting privacy is good enough.
First,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's,
Typically, this is a big issue for all the, what is it called, that, smart city projects.
yeah, surveillance.
Yeah, exactly. So, and most of these, AI tools obscure the information. You don't even get the actual face or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just a representation of some.
But no,
Yeah.
fully agree.
Yeah,
that
absolutely. Right. Privacy,
Privacy is
privacy.
very important. So
Yeah.
thank you for highlighting it for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that was the point I was gonna bring up around the automated speed safety enforcements, but, yeah, I think that's more of a personal opinion of mine, so. But I don't have any other feedback on or comments on the plan.
Okay, so
So I'll go last then. Again, I want to thank staff for the long effort, longer than I think it was intended. But I think that's for the better because the plan as it stands now is stronger. So we appreciate the collaborative effort here, listening to us, taking the feedback and making sure that it's represented from us and others from the commission and from other stakeholders. So really I want to commend staff for really listening to us and making together this plan a better one. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I would also acknowledge the effort by the staff members, current commission members, as well as previous commission members, to bring up this, to progress this project to this level. And I think it's a great program. Many of the cities in Bay Area are adopting it. So it's good to join rest of the cities to bring the KSI to zero. It's a good vision. I know that it won't be perfect when we start, but typically other cities, they keep, learning from what works for their cities, and then they update the programs like every 5 years or so. And city of Fremont, and one of the reasons why I requested the city of Fremont staff members to come and just share with their PKMs here is because they're one of the successful cities in this area who have implemented it and also brought down the rate of crash, injury crashes in their city, and they have been shown as a role model for where they are being invited by other cities to present their methods. And at some point in future, during the phase of implementation, we could do that as well. Yeah, thank you so much for all the staff members. Thank you.
I'd like to also thank the staff and for your very hard work and acknowledge the hard work of the public, including Walk by Cupertino, on their notable input on this document.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this program will not be successful without community support. Yeah, and so I wholeheartedly, thank the community members as well.
Very.
Any other comment?
And the consultants as well.
That's not here to.
We don't want to let anyone left behind, okay?
Parents.
Okay, so let's move on the agenda. Sorry. Okay, so we need a motion to
I move for the commission to recommend to the city council to adopt as listed below the Cupertino's draft vision zero action plan with the following changes listed below.
Exactly.
With respect to the motion on the screen, how do you vote, Commissioner Ganga?
Yes.
Chair Marcy?
Aye.
Vice Chair Wolf?
I
Commissioner Zhao?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Commissioner Jones absent. Thank you.
But now, moving on to new business, there is no new business, so we move on to the staff and commission reports. Is there any report?
Yes, Chair, I have a few things to mention. The McClellan Protected Bikeway Phase 3 project work is continuing. The traffic signal work was completed last week. We're currently in the process of doing some paving work and striping. Striping will occur next week. We anticipate having that project completed by the end of June. For the Dianza Buffered Bike Lane project, the contract is currently being executed, and we anticipate that work beginning in July. Regnart Creek Trail, as you've all noticed over the winter time, we had some closures and some soft areas, and our city crews are planning on going in hopefully in July to do some rehabilitation work on the trail that may or may not involve a temporary closure of the trail. They might try to do that with just barricading off the areas where the work is performed. We'll have to see the extent of the work, but for now, the plan is still to start that in July. June 18th, next Tuesday at the city council meeting, the city council will be considering the TDA 3 allocation for the active transportation plan that the bike commission approved last month. And July 9th at the city council meeting, we'll be presenting the Vision Zero plan, which now has the bike commission's support, as well as Lawson Middle School, both of those on July 9th. And it's been requested that the chair of the bike commission attend that council meeting in case there are questions related to those projects that relate to the bike commission's recommendations.
So unfortunately, I will be in Europe to visit my family, so.
Or the vice chair. So July 9th. Maybe we can
July,
talk more about that as it gets closer. And that concludes my report.
Are there any public speakers for that item? Okay. So we'll move on to the future agenda setting. And,
Commissioner.
oops. Oh, sorry, are there any commissioner reports?
Do have one report, they had a successful, 2024 Bike to Wherever Day. I thank, Chair Marcy and Commissioner Nanja for your help. And I also want to thank Walk by Cupertino, put in a lot, helped out quite a bit, setting everything up, at 6:30 in the morning. So without Walk by Cupertino, I wouldn't have gotten this done.
Very well.
So, and we had 53 riders stop for food and, for free bag of goodies. And, hopefully next year we'll have more riders.
I guess I can make a report. I've been biking along McClellan Road a lot, so I've been seeing the progress on the intersection with Piazza. It's coming along very quickly. And then also I've been away traveling and wanted to share some observations of the bicycle infrastructure in China, which is very, advanced. There's just a lot of separated bike lanes there. And one of the things that I've noticed that isn't really applied in the United States is they have actual left turn bike signals. So you don't have to get into the left lane to turn left, or you don't have to do a two-stage, but they have a dedicated signal just for bicycles or like mopeds, two-wheelers essentially, which I thought was really interesting. I don't think we're at a stage in our, I guess, our society to be able to implement something like that because we don't have the volumes to justify it. Maybe in the future, but just wanted to share some interesting anecdotes from travels.
I'll add something. So I joined the mayor's meeting where all the commissions were represented. I think when it comes to this commission, one point was raised from the Arts Commission, who said they would be extremely interested in working with us regarding the bike rack project. And they said that they want to help with the design and potentially at least have a multi-commission kind of input to make sure that that they are also have their input factored in when we conduct the project. Anything else? So now we'll ask if there are any public speakers for that item. Oh,
No comments.
So moving on to the future agenda setting, so I can bring up the agenda items. And that will be for the next commission meeting on July 17th, 2024, here at the Quinlan Center.
So change this to July. What you're saying?
No.
So I think that was Commissioner Ganga, you were the one who mentioned this.
Yeah, sometime in future, and we can now that, at the time I request was to do it to help us even with this plan, but that's fine, it can be future. We're not be having a specific date.
You did mention was it Vice Chair Wolf or Chair Marcy? Someone mentioned the bike racks. Should we bring it back for an update? Is there any developments on that?
Yes, I think it would be good to have an update on the next meeting.
So we have budgets.
It's at the very top.
We're better at the top. This is
Fine.
work,
But
so work plan items. Okay.
I don't know if that would rise to the level of a agenda item, maybe more of a
update stuff.
staff update. Or
Maybe one thing David, you mentioned, is you would get the results of the Rodriguez speed report and pedestrian counting, crossing over.
Mhm.
That would be an interesting agenda item to put.
Also, do we need to take comment cards for this section or?
Yes.
What
What do you mean?
For, I forget, for future agenda setting, do we have to do
Yes.
comments from the public?
Yes.
Oh, we have to have two commissioners agree to put this on the future agenda items. Whoever gets out of it.
well, to agree to agendize,
The agenda, yeah.
throw it on the list.
So we're going to, you want to bring that up for next month's meeting?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
But yeah.
Oh, I thought you wanted August.
Oh, sorry. We said August, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
So we can put it in August when I'm back.
August.
Yeah, okay.
Have you completed the study?
Yes, yeah, we gathered the data and we received the data. Consultant, we're currently looking it over to make sure that it makes sense.
Any other agenda item?
Do you want to go through that list to see if you want to add anything or? I'm fine with this.
And I guess I'm wondering, was there an intended, is there any idea from staff around what next month's meeting should be about? Is there anything brought up?
Not at this point, no. We could take a summer break.
One thing maybe that would be interesting is given that we'll have a little bit more time to understand the cause of the crash that happened with I think there's some kids that died because they were pedestrians and the car rammed into them on Foothill Boulevard.
Yeah, it's unlikely I'd be able to do that because those sheriffs haven't released the report because of all the fatality.
When can we expect?
It's up to the sheriffs. Depends on how long their investigation takes.
Hey, did someone share what the details? I can bring up this.
So my understanding is that there was a driver that was intoxicated and kids were either biking or walking on Foothill Boulevard and the car collided and then one kid passed away. It's my understanding.
It should be stated, there's a lot of conjecture, the police report is not confirmed, we don't know for sure, driver wants to talk. So,
Okay.
waiting for data from the sheriff's department before we really make any claims.
Okay, but when did this take place?
I think this is a future agenda setting item, we don't want to get into a discussion about this. This is not an agenda, yeah.
Any other agenda items? Good. So are there any public comments for that item or should your agenda say?
No speakers.
So this meeting is adjourned at 8:23.